Hello everyone, today we're going to talk about proofreading strategies. Strategies for becoming a better writer. But before we do that, let's look at this sentence. What is wrong with this sentence? It looks like somebody's trying to eat grandma, but I'm not sure that that's what they were trying to say in the sentence. I think they're missing a comma after the verb eat. So if they proofread their own writing and put that comma after the verb eat, there won't be any confusion about who is going to eat who, but the sentence will actually say that somebody would like to ask grandma for food. Hey, grandma, can you make some food for us? Let's eat, grandma. So proofreading is very important. But before we look at the strategies for proofreading, I'd like for you to look at the definition of proofreading. What is proofreading? Proofreading is an activity that involves reading through a written piece with the purpose of correcting any mistakes in it. So here are a couple of strategies to help you with your proofreading. The first strategy is take a break. After you finish writing your paper, take a break to make sure that your eyes rest for a little bit before proofreading. That way you will be able to catch more mistakes. You can wait for maybe an hour or even a day to begin your proofreading, and that way you will be able to catch more mistakes. The next strategy is print your paper. It is also recommended that you print your paper because if you do, you're able to catch more mistakes that way. Reading from the computer screen can make our eyes tired and it can be more difficult to catch tricky mistakes. But print your paper and that will hopefully help in your proofreading. Next strategy, proofread your paper backwards. Well, this sounds a little bit strange at first, but this strategy actually allows you to look at every sentence as a separate unit, thus giving you a chance to spot more mistakes. So try that. Proof your paper backwards and you will see better results. Next strategy number 4, read your paper aloud. When you're just reading your paper, you're engaging just one of your 5 senses, which is visual. However, if you also read your paper aloud, you can also hear the way your writing sounds and identify errors that don't sound right. So try reading your paper aloud. Also, proofread with a pencil, because that way you can engage with your paper in a different way, especially after you've printed it out. Circle your punctuation marks, for example, and ask yourself, why do you need this punctuation mark here? If you're unable to answer this question, consult with your instructor or a writing tutor, and they can help you to find the answer. Maybe you won't even need that punctuation mark. So that's a very important strategy. Proofread with a pencil. If you have any questions about your paper, you can also schedule a session at the writing lab. Meet with a writing tutor to go over your paper. You can also ask them if they can point out a couple of grammar or spelling mistakes or any punctuation errors that stand out the most. That way, when you come back home, you can focus on these specific errors and proofread in a more meaningful way. And finally, the last strategy today, proofread your paper using Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word is able to spot certain spelling and grammar errors. Look for those green and red squiggly lines. Click on them and see if the computer gives you a good suggestion. Sometimes, it's a computer. The suggestion is actually not good, but this gives you an extra chance to engage with your own writing and perhaps decide if maybe any revision is needed. So let's look at all of these strategies one more time. Strategy number 1, take a break. Don't proofread right after you finish writing your paper. Number 2, print your paper because sometimes it's hard to read from the computer screen. Number 3, proofread your paper backwards. That way you can focus on all of the sentences as a separate unit. And number 4, read your paper aloud. Sometimes you can actually hear your own mistakes. Number 5, proofread with a pencil. That way you can circle some of the mistakes and go back later and perhaps ask a friend or a writing lab tutor or your instructor to see if they can clarify what the issue seems to be. And number 6, schedule a session at the writing lab. Again, writing lab sessions can be very helpful to help you identify your own mistakes, and that way when you come back home, you can focus on these specific mistakes that stand out. And finally, the last one, number 7, proofread your paper using Microsoft Word. Some of the suggestions that the computer makes can be actually very helpful, but not all of them. Word of caution, you have to be careful. The computer is just a computer and it doesn't know grammar that well. We are humans and we know grammar better, so we should decide if the change is indeed needed. If you still need more help, you can also Google proofreading strategies on the Purdue OWL website, and they have a lot of really good strategies for proofreading. And also Harvard University Writing Center has good ideas and tips for revising your final draft. So check those out by Googling those useful resources, and good luck with your proofreading, and thank you for your attention.